Pittsburgh football fans from all over the globe. We are back with everyone's favorite Steeler podcast, the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy. Another great win, another great week ahead of us. And Mike, we want to give a special shout out to our partnership with Brushes and Beans Cafe. Caffeinate and create at Brushes and Beans Cafe. Visit them at 4 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Steeler Nation, we are back for another week of shows. Another girl who is killing it in the Pittsburgh sports scene as well, covering a bunch of football teams and has her own YouTube channel. And we're going to knack her brain on what the Pittsburgh Steelers are about to do. But first, we want to give a special shout out to our partnership with Brushes and Beans Cafe. Caffeinate and create at Brushes and Beans Cafe. Visit them at 4550 William Penn Highway in Murraysville. I went there last month, man. It was just great. I got a double shot of espresso. They have a whole area over there where you can bring your kids, family, to do some pottery, art. Great owner, great family. So make sure you check them out. I know I'm going to be heading back there soon to get some coffee and hang out and enjoy the atmosphere. That's Brushes and Beans Cafe, William Penn Highway in Murraysville. And Mike, I think that hat looks pretty good on you. Is that a Yin's hat with 2 Z's, right?
Yeah, really quickly before we bring in our special guests, let's talk shopyins.com with 2 Z's. You said it. Use that code 615 for 15% off your entire purchase at the website. We got a giveaway going on right now as well. Make sure you enter that via the website. Check us out on social media. This wonderful hat, courtesy of shopyins.com. Hey, that's what we're giving away. You can win one of those. Who doesn't love free stuff? So let's run it, Shane.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Aaron Smith shields. Flacco Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
All right. She is a writer over at the Tribune Dem Sports, of course, as well. She's got a pop in YouTube, as you said. You can find her at Sports with Amanda G on YouTube and find her on Twitter at Amanda F. Godsey. We're thrilled to welcome in Amanda Godsey. Amanda.
Hi, guys. Nice to be on. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Of course. We're thrilled to talk to you. Of course, I've been covering the Steelers for a long time. You definitely were obviously tweeting a bunch of takeaways from training camp that we've been following. So obviously the most relevant topic is the recent preseason game against the Bills, of course. Just an absolute clinic by the Steelers' first team offense yet again. Talk a little bit about Kenny Pickett's first drive, the touchdown pass to Pat Freiermuth, and then, just some positive takeaways from the offense.
I just think the offense I think it's going to have a better year than last year. I mean, that's not saying a whole lot. But just what we've seen so far in the preseason and what I saw the couple days I was up at training camp, Kenny looks just sharper. The ball's coming out of his hand with more zip. I had a really good view at training camp during team drills on the sideline. He fit a couple balls into tight windows. One was to George Pickens with Devontae Casey covering. One was to Deontay Johnson along the sideline with Patrick Peterson covering. Both guys had great coverage, but it was perfectly placed ball. The receivers it felt like they had stick-em on their hands. I mean, they didn't, but they just caught them, and it was really nice to see. And like I said, I think the balls come out of his hand with a little more zip. I liked what I saw in the first drive against the Bills, obviously. That's kind of what I expect to see over the course of the season. I think the offense will just be running a little better and just a little more smoothly this year with Kenny having the full offseason to work with his receivers throughout OTAs and minicamp and training camp.
Yeah, no question about it. They've looked phenomenal. Checked all the boxes that needed to be checked thus far. Speaking of Stickum, it's funny to me. I think George Pickens should be tested, and I say that facetiously. The guy puts one finger up, of course, and he's coming down with touchdown catches. Can never get enough of those videos. Hopefully that carries into the season, and hopefully the run game carries into the season that we've seen from Jalen Warren specifically. I think outside of that, it's been questionable at best. However, there's this silly debate going on right now. You've seen it, the Najee Harris versus Jalen Warren dialogue. Why can't we just have two good running backs, Amanda? Why does it have to be this head-to-head battle all the time?
That's kind of my question. I think they both do. I think they're both good running backs. I think they both do things well. I think they're both pretty good catching passes too. I don't know why there has to be this dialogue that one's better than the other. And I don't really think we've seen. I think the plays that have been drawn up that we've seen at Najee actually, we've seen him get the ball this preseason. I think it's been pretty vanilla and pretty I think we'll see more. I don't think they're going to show us everything. And I think they also could be trying to avoid an injury because he was injured last year in a preseason game. So, and then had that metal plate in his shoe for, half the season. So I don't think one needs to be better than the other. I think Pittsburgh should just be glad that we have two good running backs.
Yeah, great
good
point.
problem
Certainly,
to have.
It's not a problem. That's the funny part. It is a luxury, no question about it. Nick Herbig was a 4th-round draft pick. Speaking of luxuries, this guy is playing like a 1st-round draft pick. He is emulating T.J. Watt out there. Looks terrific. The Steelers doing it again at outside linebacker. Talk about him a little bit, Amanda, and maybe some other standouts from the preseason and training camp that you saw that maybe aren't getting the same attention.
Yeah, I actually I asked TJ about what he's seen from Nick after the game on Saturday. I asked him how he saw Nick progress over the course of OTAs to right now, and he said, "Well, obviously, he's progressed a lot." And he said he's, done so well at rushing the passer, but he also thinks he's improved so much in stopping the run. And I think when you have TJ Watt, who's one of the best edge rushers, if not the best edge rusher in the league, saying that's pretty high praise. Other standouts, like I said, I like what I've seen from really. I'm trying to think if there's. I like what I've seen. Love what I've seen from Calvin Austin. Absolutely love, and this is what I was expecting last year. I did have an opportunity to see him at rookie minicamp and a couple OTAs and training camp before he got injured last year, and this is exactly what I was expecting. I think he's a guy that can be just. I think he'll be a guy that won't be focused on a lot by defenses until he obviously takes the top off sometime with like a 70-yard touchdown or whatever. I love what I've seen from him. I like what I've seen from the receivers as a whole. I think Deontay Johnson and George Pickens look really good in camp. I thought Gunner's done some good things. I know people were questioning if he's going to make the roster. I think he probably will. Because I think he's had a good camp, and the quarterbacks all seem to like him. Trying to think who else I like. I love what I saw from Corey Trice before he got injured. I feel so bad that he got injured. I love what I've seen from him before his injury in OTAs and minicamp. Before he got even to training camp, I love what I saw from him. I like what I've seen from Joey Porter Jr. I think that this team could be really, really good. I think these last two draft classes could have a chance to be like franchise-altering drafts, both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all good stuff. So what are your thoughts on this revamped offensive line? And speaking of Broderick Jones, when do you think that he'll be ready to start?
Since he didn't start the preseason game against the Bills, I don't think he'll be starting the season at left tackle. I expect it will happen at some point this season. Whether it happens, like I've seen speculation, and it makes sense, like the first 3 weeks, because he would have to go against Bosa, Garrett, and Crosby. Maybe they would keep Dan Moore in there. So maybe week 4, maybe closer to mid-season. But I do think at some point he'll probably take over from Moore, and they might have Moore either shift over to right tackle or be the swing tackle because he can play both.
Yeah, it just seems like, when you go to like a school like that, people think that you're automatically just going to come into the league and, perform it. It takes time, just the fundamental stuff, techniques. That's what training camps for, preseason, and just learning the ropes. But I think this was like a really cool moment. The Joey Porter, he gets his first interception as a Steeler, goes and finds his dad. He goes up against George Pickens, or Stickums, as you like to call him. From what you saw at training camp, like, how did he fare, and what impact do you think that has to, to just build him up and make him become the player that he's capable of being?
He was like, from what I saw, he was always one of the first people on the field. And every day that I wasn't there, everyone was saying he's one of the first people on the field.
Yeah.
Minka's a guy that's known for being on the field early and staying after a lot of people. And Joey kind of seemed to be emulating that exactly what Minka does. He would be there early, he would stay after and just keep working. And he always has a great work ethic. He's extremely talented. And I almost think like it's a good, I know it came in preseason, but I almost think like it's a good thing that he got an interception against the Bills, because that was the big knock on him coming out of college, was he only had one interception in his Penn State career. So I almost think like it's good he got it out of the way, so that we won't be talking about it in week 10. Like, is Joey Porter Jr. ever going to pick off a ball? Because we've seen him do it.
Yeah. And someone that, before I throw it back to Mike, Darnell Washington, what impact can he have on this team? I mean, I'm 5'7". I was sitting there watching him catch balls on the sideline, and I think that Connor Hayward and him were running back to the huddle, and the camera guys were there, and he was like, "Go ahead and take the picture. I'm 7 foot. He's 7 foot, and I'm 5'4", and I got a chuckle out of that. Everyone else did as well. But just talk about the impact. I mean, he's just such a huge man, and just, I mean, a red zone threat automatically. Maybe he can play offensive line at this point. I don't know where he's going to line up. I just think that it's like you can utilize him in so many ways.
Yeah, I agree. I've had a chance to talk to Darnell a couple times. I'm 5'1", so talking to a guy that's literally 18 inches taller than me
it's
is
insane.
Like hilarious. Actually, on my YouTube page, I think I have a video where I think one day I forgot my selfie stick and I had to take a video of him, and I'm like angled up like this, and my arms are out as far as they can, and it looks like he's so much taller than me. I think he will have an impact in the red zone for sure. I don't know how many like routes he'll be running. I think this year they're probably most likely to use him in the red zone and as a blocker most of the time. I also think he's a guy that, if he gets off his block and can leak out if there's like a breakdown in a play, that's obviously a large target. It could be like a safety valve for Kenny. But I do think he will be a red zone threat, because how can he not? There's no one that can cover him. One of the days I was at training camp, he caught a touchdown, and there's defenders around him, but like there's just nothing they can do.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't want to be on the other end of that. Let's just say that.
No. He's a very large guy. He's very, very nice guy. And yeah, I just think he can. I think there's a lot of ways they can use him. I think they could even use him like, I don't think they will, but they could if they really wanted to, like in a goal line situation. They could put him in at fullback because who's going to stop him. I loved that draft pick, and I think he can add a lot to this offense. I think he's like a one of one player in the NFL. There's just nobody that's as big as he is playing tight end that can actually catch the ball. So I'm really excited to see what he can do.
No question. We're hanging out here with Amanda Gotze, of course, talking Pittsburgh Steelers. You can find her over at the Tribune Democrat as well, tribdem.com. Doing some awesome work, in her YouTube channel, like we said before, one of the best, Sports with Amanda G. Mike Tomlin at his press conference mentioned that this final tune-up against the Atlanta Falcons, you will see some of the starters as long as they're healthy. A little bit of a caveat there, potentially. What are you expecting? What are you looking for Thursday night?
I'm expecting the offense to probably be out for one series. I know Kenny said last week the plan, he was asked in the press conference after the game, the plan was always 2 series, even though they obviously went pretty quickly because the one was after Calvin's long punt return. So I would expect one series out of the starters on offense. The defense, I don't know, but I imagine Cam, TJ, Minka, those guys probably won't play more than one series if they play. But I could be wrong. Last year, I thought the same thing going into the last preseason game, and the starters played a little longer than I think we thought. So I would imagine one series, like I said, for starting offense, at least for Kenny, probably Najee, maybe George or Deontay too, maybe Pat, and then the big three on defense. I don't expect them to play too much.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, so we always just like to ask before we get you out of here. First, we wanted to thank you for coming on. Just, love your content and your writings and everything that you're doing, and always, here to support women in sports. I think it's great. We've had plenty of females on the show, and just love to hear all the success stories of, you killing it. So just keep up the good work first and foremost. But we just got to get from Miss Amanda herself the final Steelers record prediction. Now, this isn't going to go on like the bottom line of ESPN. It might go on the sick bottom line, but me and Mike did ours, and we got, I won't lie, we got killed last year. But I think this year we're going in the upward trend. So just wanted to get your, win-loss on the Steelers. And will they make the playoffs? But I guess that will determine that.
I'm going to go with 11-6, and yes, they make the playoffs as a wild card.
Are they going to win the playoff game?
I'd have to. It depends on who the matchup's against. I wouldn't like their chances in Kansas City, but other teams.
We're due for a win there, though. That could be.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think they will make the playoffs. I just think the offense is going to be better. Hopefully, if TJ can stay healthy. Plus, I just think that the depth that they've added, even at outside linebacker, no one can really replace TJ Watt, of course. Mm-hmm. But I do like what we've seen from Herbig. Hopefully, with Herbig and Marcus Golden, too, they can both TJ and Alex Highsmith can stay a little fresher. So maybe they'll be fresh in fourth quarters, fresher later in the season. So, but yeah, I think 11-6 is where I'm going to pick them to end up.
That's a fair assessment. I think that's where we had them right around. And then I said, in order for the Steelers season to be a success, they will more so for Kenny Pickett year 2, but it's a team sport at the end of the day, but to win that playoff game ultimately. So, the verdict's still out, but we're going to be week 1's coming. We really appreciate you coming on the show.
Before you know it.
Yeah, we really appreciate. We'll have to have you back on during the season, and just tell everyone again where they can find you before we get you out of here.
You can find me on Twitter at Amanda F. Godsey and on YouTube, Sports with Amanda G. I put out any video I take pretty much winds up on my YouTube channel. So if I'm talking one-on-one with a player, if I'm talking, at a press if I'm, in a press conference, they usually wind up there. So.
Cool.
Thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Amanda.
Talk soon. Really appreciate it.
Talk to you soon. Keep up the good work.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
All right, Jordan, 11-6. She's definitely probably on the higher end of the spectrum. It's funny because I remember when we did our predictions, I think I came 10-7. You might have done the same. And at that point,
I was around there, 11-6.
At that point, people are like, "Oh, you guys are really high on them," and now it's like you guys are low on them. A lot has changed.
Well, when the national media comes in and starts spewing out stuff, obviously that's gonna. And it seemed I haven't really heard anything. They went from Kenny's hands are too small to this guy's in the MVP race. So, hey, I've seen crazier things happen, and this is the Steelers Crazy Podcast. That's a perfect segue to end this show. We thank you guys for joining us.
Big things coming. Big stuff coming.
York football. Remember, we have giveaways. Shout out to Yins. That's 2 Z's. Get over to Brushes and Beans and make sure you subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff and maybe a big announcement coming soon. Hey, until then, stay subscribed, stay tuned, do what you do. But remember, the Steelers are the best football team in the country. Shane?
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.